I was just thinking, when it comes to political parties and trying to choose, I struggle with them. I don't know. I always think I lean or I lean But the one thing that's consistent is I believe in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. I think the ideas that our forefathers have when they developed all these things for this country, I think they set the tone that they wanted to have that says that they don't want to be, controlled by their oppressors, no matter what they look like. For me, so like which political party? I sit here and I wonder to myself, like, well, which political party supports the when we went to war with Britain, when we became a free nation? Which political party is about that? And from my very limited knowledge, I heard it's like libertarian. But I don't know nothing about it. But that's what makes sense to me. Not about just the Second Amendment, or just the Fourth, or just the First, but the whole thing being applied equally across the board. It's like either A or B, and it's like, I hate voting because I hate ultimatums. There's always a third option. At the very least. A or B, A or B, A or B, A or B. Nah. So, might get cracked at for, at least as I stand right now. To my knowledge, that's what a libertarian is. I think it's, take the Latin word, somewhere in there, but libertarian, I'm pretty sure it's connected. And that's my stance. I don't know, like I look at both left and right, red and blue, and I see the same person, the same extremist, the same, what's the word? Not excessive, but they're just extremists. They're the same person. So I'm like, nah, you're crazy. I'm too emotional about this. It's important to get emotional about, sensitive issues. But you gotta have your head about you, about yourself. You gotta be able to think about it and just to strategically push forward. Very rarely do you see these politicians get emotional and just screaming at each other, just like you see, us common folks doing, because these people are strategically thinking and going about how they want to go about things. I think it's more planned than not. And when an issue does come, I don't really believe in the conspiracy theories like this COVID thing. I don't really think when it first popped up, it was a political thing. It was too sloppy. It was too... You could just feel the scramble, everyone's scrambling. But this is how they control us, is by dividing us into at least two parties, or into these two parties, have us pitted at each other. And it's working. I mean, if I ran a government, right? Like, if I was the guy, I'd do the same way. But that's exactly what I would do. So, I don't know, like, I sit here and I think about, like, that movie V for Vendetta, like, security over freedom. And that's what I see a lot of people choosing. I don't know, I lean Republican, but, like, I don't know, like, I've heard some podcasts the other day, and dude says, you know, both parties are rotten to their core. And it's true. Even if, like, on the surface, like, they hold the same values I do, everything underneath, like it says at the core of it, I can't. Like, because that's not what will propel us forward. Because that's exactly why, was it defected? That's why all, you know, our forefathers defected, for lack of a better word, from, you know, England back in the day, because, like, they knew how effed up it was. They knew how wrong it was. So that's why, like, and that's, it just goes to show it's human nature. Like, it's not like this is anything new. Like, that's what I've come to realize. You know, I'm 32 now, and I used to read history books. I was like, wow, that's what it was like 80 years ago. How long ago was 80 years ago? It just felt like forever ago. But now I'm like, that wasn't that long ago. That was only like... And then I read a few more books, and they touched on it and said that, you know, like, no, it's just human nature. And then everything started making sense, because I kept an open mind. Like, I didn't look for answers and just attach to something just so I could feel better. I kept an open mind until it clicked and made sense, which to me is the difference. I think too many people are just, they want to control what they digest and what makes sense to them. And even if it doesn't make sense on any other front, but as long as they have control. What is that? Is that a duck? It's a chicken. It's a chicken. I don't know what's happening right now. But yeah, people want to control what they digest and how they process things. And I think that's a fundamental flaw with just everything that's going on. And just, I think that's a flaw of our ego, probably. And that, I don't know, man, we just need a little more self-reflection, a little more, you know, taking a step back, being a little more objective. It would dissolve all that. And then once you become equipped with this open-mindedness, and you're able to operate from that, like, so many more solutions become available, and they're fruitful, and they're way more optimal than what we have available to us right now. I don't know, it's, everybody's just trying to shove their own ideas down each other's throats. Like it's effective. Like, can you just, like, take a step back and be like, hey, this shit ain't working. So how else could I do it? And that's what our politicians are doing. Politicians have us just scrambling at each other. They don't expect any of us to actually do anything, but our vote matters, and that's all they need. They just need you just emotional enough to be able to check their box. That's all they need from you. Isn't that crazy? How is that not crazy? But, like, I really do believe, like, there's more. But, like, if, like, we stand to think, oh, it's like the stock market, like what happened to the stock market. Like, these men were objective and, like, took a step back, didn't get emotional, and realized what power they had by coming together. The 99%. and like everyone's like, oh my goodness, it's upsetting the thing, and people were literally getting upset that these billionaires and whatnot were losing money, that they're masters, essentially, right? In one form or another, that their establishment and their way of things was getting shooken up. And that's so common across the board. It's crazy. It's like, if you do something, like, you can literally, like, it's like the slaves. It's crazy how that's happened. It's like, imagine you go in there to free slaves. You are a slave. You're like, hey man, we're gonna break out of here, whatever. And then, half your people are like, oh hell no. And then they put you down. I mean, I can kind of make the sense that, like, you're just gonna make it worse for us or whatever. I get that. But how do you not fight for your freedom? Like I said, circling back to the libertarian thing, like, freedom over security, that comes first. That is number one under any circumstance. Like, I understand biding your time or striking when the time's right, or when the iron's hot, whatever. Like, I get that. But, like, being paralyzed out of fear or out of losing your comfort, losing your security, your false sense of security. Jeez, what have we got ourselves in? What have we got ourselves into? I just sit back. Oh, like, I've quoted this so many times, but like, I don't even see myself as like a participant. Like, now that I'm an adult, and I'm like, well, I'm really like an adult. Like, I'm really like supposed to be getting emotional about this now, or like this and that. But I can't help it. All I want to do is sit back and take notes. Kind of like now. Sit back and be like, man, this is really going on. This is what people really think. This is, I don't know. Anyway, I'm out of here. But, yeah, thanks for listening.